Hey, Isa. So, just a quick video to kind of go over some of that stuff that we were having connection issues with, and just kind of show you some fun stuff to play around with. So, I want to talk first about that blues song that we were doing, the hard driving blues. Any blues is going to be a fun thing to do at the piano, and there's basically a formula that goes for these types of songs. And this song is following that formula. So I'm going to show it to you with just simple chords, and then we'll look at a couple ways where we can kind of jazz it up. So the blues that we're dealing with here is a G blues, meaning that the first chord is G. And the way these tend to work is that you're going to have the first chord, the one chord we would call it, for four measures. So in its most simplest form, it's going to look like this. 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4. Then we want to make a change here, so we're going to go up a fourth, 1, 2, 3, 4, to the 4 chord. In this case, it's C. Okay, so this chord is going to happen 2 times. Same length of time, though. It's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, and then we go back for 2 times. 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that brings us to what we call the turnaround. There's lots of different versions of this, but the most common one is up to the 5 chord. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here that's D, and then remember we're in the key of G, so that means we're going to have an F sharp up here. And this only happens for one measure. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, down to C, 2, 3, 4, and then back down to G. 2, 3, 4, twice. Cool. So the best way to think about it is in 3 sections. You've got your opening part is all the G chord, all the 1 chord. And then you got a half and half line where it's the 4 chord to the 1 chord. And then the turnaround, 5 chord, 4 chord, 1 chord, 1 chord. So I'm going to speed it up a little bit, but again, I'm going to play it its most simplest form. It certainly gets a little jazzier than this, but this is where you want to start. All right, so I'm going to go about 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool. And I'm going too fast there. You can take that slow, but I just want you to see the motions and how that changes. All right, great. So that's the skeleton of the blues. The next thing we want to do is kind of throw some dirt in it to make it sound kind of like what we want. So what this song is doing, right? Oh, actually, they're using these fingers. Right. So it's an old trick of taking your chord, and this is what I would call the major third, right? It's a major chord, 1, 2, 3. So what they're doing there is sliding from the minor third to the major third. And it's nice in this key because you're going black key to white key. And it gives us that nice kind of bluesy sound. There's another spot you could do it here, but I'm going to stick to one thing. All right, cool. So your pattern in this song, and again, a good pattern to know for any blues is... Might be a little bit different when it's written out, but that's kind of the way it goes. And listen to that with a G chord above it. It's going to sound real nice. Good. So you would never think to do this ordinarily, right? That's a clash. But the fact that it only lasts for a little bit and then goes straight to the right thing, that's why it sounds cool. All right, great. So let's see. I know in the song it does some different stuff, but what I'd like to try is see if we could apply that pattern to all those chords. So I'm going to do a little G chord up here, and I'm just going to hold it down with each measure. So again, we got 4 times of that, right? So... Okay, and then where do we want to go there? Up a fourth to the 4 chord, it'd be C. And then how do we recreate that pattern? Well, we take the major third, we're going to slide into it from the minor third. So this will be, right? Just twice, and then back to the G. Cool. Now we go to the 5 chord, and double it up. Now here, this is interesting. Our major third is a black key. So if we want to do that same trick, I'm going to slide from a white key to the black key there and make it look like this. Sorry, I should just do once. And then C. And then G. Okay, great. So I'm going to try to put that all together. Again, it might be a little much to follow, but if anything, just kind of just try to follow the hands more so than what notes are being played. All right, so here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. Cool, so it started to sound a little bluesier there. And again, it's a simple trick. Again, I'm probably going a little too fast just because I'm trying to squeeze in a bunch of information. But feel free to play around with these at whatever speed. It should be cool. All right, very nice. So the other thing I wanted to show you is what we call the blues scale in the right hand. So it's a group of notes. I think we may have looked at it in C before. I'm just going to show it to you. It's a G, B flat, C, C sharp, D, F, and G. So I'll do that one more time, a little faster. G, B flat, C, C sharp, D, F, and G. So we talked a little bit about improvising where you're switching scales. The reason this is such a popular scale to begin with, see if I can hold it all out for you there. You can use this one batch of notes for every chord in the blues, and it sounds cool the entire way. But the other rules are the same. You basically just kind of internalize the scale, and then you kind of dance around it to come up with ideas. So if you do it, even just with those simple chords, you don't have to do the fancy slide thing, but we can go. I'll probably get too fancy there. Remember 2 C chords. Back to G. All right, up to D. Fancy, right? But again, it's basically just knowing the way the blues kind of goes around. 4 4. Excuse me. 1 1 1 1 4 4 1 1 5 4 1 1, and then being able to maintain those notes up there. You can do 2 at once. You can slide. You can do your minor third. Anyway, sorry, too much. So let's keep it a little bit simple here. I'm going to go slow. Again, I'm just going to try some ideas out, but they're all going to come from that blues scale thing. So one more time. 1, 2, ready, go. Good. And I know it's a little bit of an old-fashioned sound, but it's a cool one to pull out, even in a song like the pretty Adele one that we're doing. Like if you just do a little dash of flavor from the blues, it can really make people stand up and pay attention. Even when we're doing like a... Sorry. You know, just that little slide. You know. Okay, cool. So that's the deal. And then lastly, I'm just going to kind of put it together with that pattern. This is probably too much, but just so you can see how it starts to build as you layer ideas. That'll be the deal. A little sloppy, but you get the idea. All right, great. So that's the idea on that stuff. And then last thing I wanted to just touch on is as you're starting to sculpt a solo for the, I never remember the title. I'm just gonna call it Adele. So this stuff. All right. So what I would say is you're doing a great job of kind of keeping those scales. I know it's a lot to keep up with, but what you want to fight the urge to do is two things. You don't want to try to fit the entire scale into each chord, even just a couple notes from it. Right? Groups of threes, groups of fours, they work out really well. What you don't want to be is this kind of improviser that goes like... It's too much, right? There's a time for that, but I think for here, what we're doing, we want to keep it melodic and almost like the song, just an alternate melody is going to be how we're thinking of it. All right. So try to make tiny movements. D sounds good to me here. It would help if I could remember the chords. All right. What is it? Sorry. Okay. A, E, G, D. Last time. I'm sorry. I know this has been rambling. All right. And then definitely the F here sounds great. Okay. And when I get to these parts, I'm just going to do... And I don't have the chords in front of me, so some of those might be a bit off. But yeah, again, just some ideas to play with. And I can tell you're piecing it together. Just continue to refine. Sounding great, Issa. Cool. So hopefully this helps you a little bit with some of those ideas. I know it's a little sprawling all over the place, but something where we don't have a broken connection and you can kind of see my hands as we go. All right. Thanks, Issa. I'll talk to you next time.